Welcome to the Fourth and Short podcast, a breakdown of the hottest topics on the Schuylkill League sports scene, with your hosts, Eli Doyle and Leroy Boyer.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the T102SportsNow.com's weekly podcast, Fourth and Short. I'm Leroy Boyer. This is Eli Doyle, and we are in the library at Schuylkill Haven Area High School. Our guest this week will be Ty Wartman, the high school principal here at Schuylkill Haven, and he is the color analyst for the games that are broadcast on T102, 101.9 FM, and this is his first year as the color analyst, replacing the legend John Powers. And we're going to find out all about Ty here in a couple minutes. Let's run down the week 6. We're at week 7 already. Week 7. It's flying by. Here's the scores from week 6 involving local teams. The game of the week, Schuylkill Haven stayed unbeaten. They're the only unbeaten team in our coverage area. They beat Williams Valley 43-29. Also in the blue division last week, Minersville looked impressive on Saturday night. They beat Marion 38-7. Tri-Valley shut out Panther Valley 42-0. Nativity came from behind to beat Shadow Valley 14-6. And Mono Area got their first win of the year. They came to beat Pine Grove 22-20. In the red division, some of our teams took some beatings last week. Lehighton defeated Pottsville 35-0. It was Northwestern Lehigh over North Schuylkill 49-18. Southern Lehigh beat Jim Thorpe 47-27. On the positive side, Blue Mountain now 3-3. They beat Palisades 42-21, and Touchdown Terrence and Tamaqua, they beat Bangor 20-0. Your thoughts on week 6? Some impressive wins from Schuylkill Haven and Minersville.
Yeah, and looking up the mountain, North Schuylkill gave Northwestern Lehigh certainly a scare going into halftime. I'd love to know what that Tigers halftime speech sounded like, because they came out with a flurry, obviously. But North Schuylkill was leading in that game. But yeah, some teams that look really good. Schuylkill Haven, same thing. Big second half, comes out, basically shuts down Williams Valley and goes on to get a big victory, remain undefeated. Minersville, Marion, Saturday night. The ball was flying all over the field in that second half as well. Of course, we'll touch on the game a little bit as we go here because you were there, I was there, our guest Ty Wartman was there, so we'll touch on that game a little bit more later. But Minersville with a big victory there, and then Blue Mountain. How about Blue Mountain? Who would have thought this after 0-3 to start?
Well, they were 1-3 to start. They've won their last 2, but their 3 losses are to teams with a combined 18-0 record.
I was trying to serve that.
I hit it off the tee for it. Schuylkill Haven, Southern Lehigh, Northwestern Lehigh, all 6-0, and all fairly competitive games for Blue Mountain. They could have easily won 2 of the 3.
Right.
I mean, Southern Lehigh, they never really were in that game. A bunch of turnovers, fell behind by several scores early, but obviously, had the lead against Schuylkill Haven late.
Northwestern Lehigh.
Tie ball game in the fourth quarter with Northwestern Lehigh. So, Blue Mountain team, they have looking ahead to week 7, not a really super marquee game on the schedule. All the games involving local teams are Friday night, and that Blue Mountain team hosts Lehighton in a battle of 3-3 teams. Other games on the schedule, all 7 o'clock starts. The T102 game of the week, Mono Area is in St. Clair to play Nativity. The WPPA game of the week, Northwestern Lehigh comes to Veterans Memorial Stadium to take on Pottsville. Other games on the schedule, Bangor at North Schuylkill, Southern Lehigh at Tamaqua, Jim Thorpe at Catasauqua, Pine Grove at Minersville, Marion at Schuylkill Haven, Shadow Valley at Tri-Valley, and Panther Valley at Williams Valley. Does anything stand out for me? It's not really a super week compared to last week.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of things, a lot of internet rumors and rumbling. Why is the T102 game or, this game this week? Well, let me tell you why. Because this is going to be a fair matchup. This is going to be a tightly contested matchup. Kylie Quick and the Golden Bears up at Monoy, they're going to be able to do some things. Nativity is an underexperienced team. They're growing as the season moves along here. But, it's going to be up to Nativity's run defense to stop that, because that's what they're going to try to do to score from a Golden Bear standpoint. And then on the flip side, what in the bag of tricks does Coach Mason and Colt Mason have to pull out this week to try to, stay on the winning side of things? Of course, you listen to any of our other programs here at T102, and you'll hear when we talk about Class A going into the playoffs, it's a sub-regional. So they're on, Nativity's on the outside looking in.
So he needs to win.
They need to win. And I think Coach Mason knows that, and I think he's going to express that to the team. And on the flip side, Mono is a team that could very likely be in a playoff situation because of the division there, the classification they play.
And in Double A, 8 teams make it. There's only 10 there.
Right.
So somebody is going to be on the outside looking in. And right now, I think Monoy is in at number 8. So a very competitive game. There's going to be a lot of lopsided games in Week 7. A lot of scores that will be a lot to a little. But that game is most competitive. Was very impressed with the resiliency of Nativity last week. Fell behind to a winless Shenandoah team. Didn't panic. 2 long pass plays to score touchdowns from a team that didn't have 100 yards passing in 5 games before that collectively. Nice job by Nativity to get the win over Shenandoah Valley. Let's talk to Ty. We'll be right back after this with our guest, Ty Wartman. Okay, welcome back to our second segment of this week's Fourth and Short podcast. I'm Leroy Boyer. That's Eli Doyle. And our guest today is Ty Wartman, high school principal at Schuylkill Haven Area High School. And he is also the color analyst this year for our Games of the Week on T102 FM. Ty, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. This is awesome.
Ty has done a great job so far in the games that he's broadcasted. Some basketball in the winter time as well. Before he was a principal broadcaster, he was a basketball star at Monoy area. Graduated from Monoy area, played for the legend Mickey Holland. Just talk about your high school career and how that has helped you now that you're an educator and a color analyst.
Yeah, I mean, that's looking back on it. I mean, I grew up in Monoy City, and I grew up in town and had a great childhood running around town. And I think when I was a kid, we all played all sports growing up, and then I just kind of gravitated toward basketball because it was such a big thing in Monoy City. And then as I got older, we had a coach there, Coach Holland, which was just a legendary coach, and playing for him, I actually got to coach with him too, which was a great experience as I got older. And just learning, there's so many things today that I still, every day of my life, I do things that I learned. I'm always at least 15 minutes or 30 minutes early for everything because that's what you had to be for basketball practice growing up. So just little things like that. But Coach Holland is just such an influential person in not only my life, but all my brothers' lives and my friends and everybody that grew up there. So great childhood and playing for a program like that. When that gym got packed, it's still like that today. When it gets packed and it gets loud, it's one of the most awesome atmospheres in the Schuylkill League.
Now, fast forward to your teaching career and talk about those things and just, I mean, where you've been and you just told us off camera some awesome stories about student teaching and stuff at Pottsville, being observed at Pottsville, and then moving modern day. Now we're in the library here at Schuylkill Haven High School, and you're the man in charge.
Yeah, so all I ever wanted to be growing up was a teacher and a coach. I just wanted to teach and coach. I really thought I would just coach my entire career and just coach sports and then eventually I graduated from Bloomsburg. I student taught at Pottsville. Bobby Kempsey was my student teaching mentor, and
you survived.
Shout out. And everybody was great, but I got my first teaching job at Pleasant Valley School District in the Poconos, and I got a coaching job up there. And then very quickly thereafter, I was able to come back to Schuylkill School District and then coach at Monoy area and teach. But basically, I never really thought I would be going into administration. After I taught for 10 years, they approached me and said, "Hey, I think you'd be good at this. Why don't you try a dean of students role and kind of work your way into administration?" And then from that point on, I just kind of kept working up and now I've been at Schuylkill Haven the last 5 years, and it's absolutely great here. I love it here, and great community, great school, and I've enjoyed every second that I've been here.
And follow up, are the streets in Monoy really as mean as Joey Shimo says they are?
Joey Shimo, and I was a little bit younger when he was in high school, but I'll tell you what, they're a little bit meaner now, probably back then when I was growing up, but it was a fun place to grow up, and there was so many basketball courts in town, and
including one in the driveway, from what we were told.
Yes. So when I moved to
regulation basketball court in Barnesville,
when my parents, a funny story, but when my parents were looking for homes, we were going to move to Barnesville out by Locust Lake, and we were looking at houses, and then we stumbled upon a house that had a basketball court already paved out. And me and my brothers and I were like, okay, we like this. We didn't even care what the inside looked like. We didn't even care if there was a bedroom, a kitchen, anything. We said, well, yeah, we'll take this house. So it ended up pretty good.
How do you juggle your time? I mean, you're a busy guy, father of 4 kids. Some of them are at that age where they're playing baseball, basketball, whatever sports they play.
Yep.
Obviously, being administrator, requires long days. You're one of the first people here. You're one of the last people to leave. And then, the stuff you do for T102 as far as football games and then the basketball games in the winter, how do you juggle your time? What's the key to all that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So the number, and this is not just me saying this, but the number one reason why any of this works is my wife. If she is the one that holds it all down, she's in charge of everything. She makes sure the kids are good and everything is lined up at home. So, and I know that sounds like a cliche answer, but it is honestly the truth for me. So I have a great support system with my wife, but I have to kind of lay everything out and make sure that I have a plan for the week and a plan for the day. But I'm always one of those guys, I think, Leroy, and I think you guys are similar, where I like to be busy. I like to be doing things. The more that I'm active and busy, and my kids are at the age now where they come with me to a lot of stuff, and they'll come to a lot of games in the winter time. So and they're sports, they love sports too. So it does work out, but there are really, really crazy days and days where, eventually we get to everything and somehow we make it home. But it's fun. I mean, and even like the broadcasting opportunities have just been a lot of fun because in itself, I love being around the student athletes. I love being around the kids, the coaches, the games. It's just kind of in you. I know you guys feel the same way. And it's just something that I don't think really ever leaves you when you grow up in our county that we live in, and you go to Martall and you go to these places. It's just a great place to be. So I've enjoyed every second of it.
Okay, so we've had him on for at least 5 minutes now. I feel like if you don't know Mr. Wartman, you've got a good taste. Where does this energy come from? Because we need a little bit of it too sometimes, like every day.
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what. I always believe in a couple easy mantras, but if you, I just think if you don't enjoy what you're doing, and you can't smile and laugh and have a fun day, then you got to try to find something else. And even I believe like the guy, my boss right now, Dr. Fitzpatrick, he always says, if it's the best job in the world, working in education, working with kids, and you guys do the same thing. And, so I think it's infectious when you're around the populations that we're around every day, and the energy that they have. It just kind of translates into you. And sports is a great vehicle to continue that. But by the end of the week, by Fridays, I'm dragging a little bit. I think like we all are, but no, I'm excited for every opportunity that I have.
One of the things that Eli and myself and our compadre Bob Lipsky have always said is that the people don't truly understand the amount of time, effort, and work that goes into being a member of the media. They think we just show up and just do our job and everything's fine. How much time and effort do you put in to getting prepared for each game that you're going to cover? Knowing the teams, knowing the players. How much time and effort goes into all that?
That's a great question. So, the way I look at it is I kind of look at each game as certain segments. So I'm looking at, first of all, I got to prepare for our pregame shows and have everything laid out for that. So I would say from start to finish, it takes me, I would say, a couple hours, 3 to 4 hours to prepare for a game, because I'm reading articles, I'm reading the stuff that you guys write. I'm constantly on T102 Sports Now. I'm on reading different stat sheets and things like that, trying to compile talking points and key points and headlines and things that I know that we can touch on. But it has to be organized in a readable way that can kind of flow on a broadcast. So it does take a little bit of time, but oddly enough, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy that preparation. But also the guys that I kind of have been working with and I took over for it, and JP, John Powers, he has been a great resource, just kind of showing me things, and I think to kind of take a little bit from everybody. So, Bob Lipsky and the people at T102 and all these different writers, they show you things and say, here's how I do things, and here's how my stat sheet looks like. And I think it's important just to find what works for you. But the most important thing, I have nightmares that I'm not going to be prepared enough. So I think I over prepare, and I probably sometimes prepare even too much, but that's probably how I have to do it is the best answer I can give you.
Tell me about this season a little bit. Just how's it been going so far? We're coming up on week 7 here, football season. I think you called just about every game in the season with Chaz, right?
Yeah.
And some good games.
Right.
Yeah, the T102 schedule has been pretty good.
And then even go back to basketball season, like we touched on a little bit. You got to get your feet wet with the company a little bit last year and dive right in and got to work with some people. So just how's it been?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think just going like the energy on a Friday night in our county for high school football, I think is unmatched. You can go to bigger areas and bigger things, but the tradition and the communities, how they kind of revere that Friday night football in our county is really special. You pull into a stadium and you smell the burgers and you smell the food and it's like, it's football. So I really enjoyed it. I think the games that we've seen have been great games. And I think right now in this particular season, there's really just a ton of star power in our football league right now. When you go to the Brady Shoppers and the Dante Carrs and even like the Colton Reebers and the Caristillas and all these names that you can throw out there across our league, there's just a lot of big time players and big time names stepping up in these big situations, which has made it a lot of fun in the first couple weeks.
Do you have any funny stories? We all have funny stories about, case in point, Eli covered a game. What was it, winter or spring? Your car broke down. I think like a spring Nativity baseball.
Nativity State playoff game.
I'm umpiring a game and my car overheats. I call him. He's covering the game. He picked me up. Just wacky stories like that where things may have gone wrong or things were just hilarious.
Or any funny jazz stories.
Anything that you can tell
on a
podcast.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I mean, so far this year, our team has been, obviously you mentioned Chaz, but Eddie Benashutis, Belly has been our other team member on our games, and just being in the car with them to and from games is amazing. I can't repeat a lot of the things on here, but actually at our Pine Grove game, I think you guys were there this year. Eddie got caught in the Pine Grove band and couldn't make his way out, and
I'll loop the photo in right here as you're
on the broadcast.
I walked right through Belly's pregame,
but he's such a professional. He kind of rolled with it, made some jokes with it. It was hilarious. We've had a couple funny ads, this year where Belly throws in little comments about it, Bureau's septic system or different things. And but I'll tell you what though, that the greatest thing about these people and the sports writers and the people that are around is the years of experience and the level of experience with the people that are working for our local sports scene is just unbelievable. I mean, I learned so much, and just from being there every week is a learning experience for all of us. And then you go to the next morning, and the articles that are written are so professional. It's just incredible. So every week is a lot of fun. We actually last week we had a chance to have John Powers came with us to the game, and I heard some great stories over the years, the last 20 years. But I think that's the fun part, is the memories that you make and the people that you meet. And every school has characters. So if you go to Tri-Valley and you go to Pine Grove or you go to Marion, you have those people that you want to see, and the people, the old time coaches or the great community members, and I think that's the fun part.
Well, what has been your favorite, and I don't want to put you on the spot with what has been your favorite pregame interview? Because you get into those pregame interviews. I love it. You're just, you and John Powers, one of a kind. You guys go marching right down there, and you know that you're going to get a good sound bank.
That's a great question. I think so far this year, I really love Coach Franz from Midersville. I just think he's such a great interview. He gives like really thoughtful answers and kind of he'll give you an honest answer. I thought this year one of the funniest interviews we had was Coach Hall, Wally Hall from North Schuylkill out at Lafayette College. We got there and I was ready to do his interview, and I turned around. I could tell Wally was not happy about the arrangements they made for his team to change, and he kind of made it known there on the pregame interview. So the funniest part about the interviews is, and I remember this as a coach, is as a coach, you are locked into game mode, and your mental state at that point maybe is not ready to talk to anybody. Hey. And then there's a little guy like me sticking a thing in your face and saying, "Hey, can you want to talk to me?" Well, guess what? Sometimes they don't. But I'll tell you what, our coaches are great. And Mark Levine from Panther Valley was awesome. Coach Schiffer in that game. And Coach Farr. I mean, Coach Farr, obviously, I'm the principal at Schuylkill Haven. Interviewing Coach Farr, I see Coach Farr all the time. I see him every day. But his demeanor on game day is a lot different than when I see him on a Tuesday in the building. But it's been fun. I think the coaches we just have a great cast of characters and great personalities in our league. And I think that's what's fun. I mean, you guys remember the old 1980s, 1990s Big East basketball with those coaches, and got Jim Boeheims and the John Thompsons and the Louis Carnesecas. Well, that's what we kind of compare it to here in the Schuylkill League. Is we have our characters and we have our personalities, and that's what makes it fun.
Absolutely.
Just for the normal person's understanding of what goes into a T102 broadcast, these guys get there. If the kickoff is at 7 o'clock, those guys are there 5:15, 5:30 before most of us even, hey, let's go to the football game kind of deal.
Before most gates are
open, to not only just set up the equipment, make sure everything works, taps into the studio and things like that, but as the color guy, the recorder you have is a microphone, and they go down onto the field. I was a color guy last year for a game at North Schuylkill, and your task is get there early, get down on the field when the teams come out for their pregame warm-ups. Now we're talking still stretching, still calisthenics, still sometimes pads, sometimes not, and finally coach and have some questions to ask them. And as you said, sometimes those guys, they don't want to talk to you. They're busy. They got some kind of drama issue going on that they're trying to settle before the game. In addition to those interviews, got to find a time to eat, because if you don't, you can't eat during the game. I mean, some people try it, and it doesn't work when you're a radio broadcaster. I would assume the same is on TV. I've never been on TV, but then the game happens, and the pregame starts a half an hour before kickoff. So you have to be prepared. You have to have all your notes out. You have to be ready. So there's a lot of, let's go from 5 o'clock till kickoff. Kickoff's probably the best time of the day. You're like,
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, obviously you got your preparation, and there's two main elements that you got to try to eat, and you got to try to plan a bathroom trip.
yeah,
Because you got to get the bathroom trip done, because if you don't get that done, you're in trouble.
right.
and from the guy on the sidelines reporting, well, that's a key skill too.
Well, actually, I'm shout out to Coach Alco. I'll just say it myself, because I'm sure Coach Alco will tell at one point before we split up as a company. Last year, Tri-Valley Baseball State Playoffs, game ends, I rant.
Yeah, you had to go.
At Wilkes-Barre, I had to go.
Trust me, as an umpire, it's the same way.
Right.
If you don't go right before you walk down to the field, maybe by the 5th or 6th inning, things get a little hectic.
Yes, absolutely.
So just tell us, let's go back to the principal part at Ty Wartman. So it's homecoming week here at Schuylkill Haven. So lots of Spirit Week type stuff, lots of homecoming activities. What, from an administrator standpoint, goes into all that here in the school and then all that down on the field?
Yeah, so homecoming week is it's a fun week, and it's a week where, the energy level in the school gets heightened on homecoming week, because you have a lot of activities going on. So we're in the course of our Spirit Week, so you have kids dressing up in theme days, and you have kids wearing costumes, and then we have our campaigns going on all week where our candidates are, putting signs up, and they're trying to get their votes from their classmates with fun stuff and handing out their cupcakes and candies. And but my biggest philosophy as an administrator in school is, and I tell myself this every day, is you got to remember that they're kids and they're having fun. And I was a kid once. We were all kids once, and they're going to get excited. It's going to, and you might see some more silly things this week than you normally see, but they're all gearing up towards that game. They're trying to get to the homecoming game, because that homecoming game is the culmination of everything this week. And it's so much fun for families and for the community. And I think when you get to that game, it's almost like that moment you just talked about, Leroy. It's almost like the exhale of, okay, we're at the game. We have the queen is now crowned, and we can all just take a breath and enjoy the game and watch it. Because from a principal standpoint, the week leading up to it, all the things that go into it, it's fun, but there's nerve-wracking moments of, okay, are we getting through each day? Is everybody still on track to make the game on Friday? Everybody's behaving, everybody's doing good, and then we get to the game, and the ball gets in the air, it's kicked off, and then it's just fun. It's a great Friday night. But obviously, from being a Schuylkill Haven person, they love their homecoming. it's jam-packed. And they love Rotary Field on homecoming night. There'll be a tailgate party and things like that out there. So it'll be a big night.
One quick thing before we let you go. Schuylkill Haven's band is as big as it may have been like the last 20-some years, people are telling me. I got a chance to see them up close and personal at Williams Valley. They're doing a great job.
They're absolutely outstanding, and thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to give a shout-out here. Miss Biggs, Caitlin Biggs, our band director, the hardest working person in our school. I think most band directors you could say that about. I mean, they're here every day till 5, 6 o'clock at night, rehearsing, practices, and I agree. I mean, our band is flourishing, and the numbers are going up, and a great halftime show for people to come out and see. They actually built a little platform for the field this year, and they have a great show. So I'm very proud of all of our kids and the hard work that they do to put it. Everything that goes into a high school, a Friday night. Obviously, football's a focus, but the cheerleaders and the band and the coaches and the support people, the trainers and the doctors and all of. I mean, people don't realize the amount of people. The media, the work that you guys do to cover our high school sports and to give kids a chance to have a spotlight on them for stuff that they're doing in their high school careers, it's just such a special thing. I mean, it's something that when you look back on it and you read articles from 20 years ago and you read things and you say, wow, that's so cool that Leroy Boyer and Mr. Doyle and all these people were there to do this for our kids. So, I mean, I just think it's an awesome thing. And the little part that I have in it, the little part that I have in being part of the whole thing is a lot of fun.
Folks, Ty Wartman, the principal at Schuylkill Area High School and the color analyst for our games on T102 FM 101.9. Not only can you listen to it on the radio, but if you go to T102sportsnow.com, the little button in the upper right-hand corner can take you right to the broadcast, and every broadcast is archived on one of those buttons on the right-hand side of the homepage. You can go back and listen to any of the games that Ty or our WPPA crew has broadcasted this year right from our website. Ty, thanks for joining us today, and good luck broadcasting games the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for having me.
Homecoming. Thank you. Good luck with homecoming. Maybe you'll win. Maybe you'll be.
Yeah. Thank you.